Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC. Oh, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning, and I'm so glad that you've joined us this morning. One of our favorite guests will be in the 7 o'clock hour. That's Joe Barlow from the Crystal Chords. They have a couple of big events coming up. She's going to tell you all about that in the 7 o'clock hour. We have a lot of updates from last week, a lot that happened over the weekend that we are going to get to in this morning's broadcast. But I know we have a lot of music fans out there, and I thought this was very interesting. Yesterday, actually it was during the week last week, but it just started to make the news rounds yesterday. And it was Styx musician Dennis DeYoung. You remember Styx, of course, had numerous hits. Well, he took to Facebook and he blasted the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. He said, "It's a shame that Bad Company had to wait so long to get in that it rendered Paul Rodgers unable to perform due to health concerns. I would have actually liked to have seen him perform years ago to demonstrate how one of rock's premier singers actually rocks. You know, like the name on their institution's logo. I've said this repeatedly for decades. Just change the darn name." He said that Rodgers' absence from the ceremony was proof of the tragic manner in which this joint operates. Making so many musicians wait until they're either incapacitated or dead is shameful. Joe Cocker, Warren Zevon, et al. Are suddenly eligible decades after their success. Explain that. What's changed except the Hall's inability to let go of their clear prejudice and induct them? They now admit when it's far too late that they had erred. Have Joe, Warren, and others recently become more popular? No. The Hall's initial mission statement about who qualifies was always a ruse and a joke, concocted to protect their own personal choices. I'll stop now before I need blood pressure medicine. I've said this before, as someone whose band has never been considered, whatever I write ends up sounding like sour grapes. He does have a good point there, though. Think of how many people, especially this year, couldn't perform or had already passed. What had made them more popular today than, let's say, 10 years ago? For instance, I know we mentioned Joe Cocker before. What made Joe Cocker more eligible this year than 10 years ago when he was still alive and could have performed? That is a great question. And I thought that's how we'd kick off the program this morning. Okay, in a stunning reverse, arguably the big story of the morning, President Trump has said that House Republicans should vote to release the files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, "House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. It's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party." Now, this changes his position from the past. Trump said Friday that he would ask the Department of Justice and FBI to investigate the financier's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan, Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. "I don't care," he reiterated in his Sunday post. "All I do care about is that the Republicans get back on point," in all caps. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. So your thoughts on this reversal? Now, this comes, and unfortunately, we've been following this journey, and you know I was critical, and I received some pushback, but I think I have been vindicated in a way with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday apologizes for using toxic rhetoric. Man, the media is using her. In an interview with CNN's Dana Bash on State of the Union, Greene said she worried Trump's rhetoric towards her could lead to violence against her. We'll get to that in just a moment. When pressed by Bash on why she didn't speak out against Trump using such rhetoric until it was directed at her, Green conceded that it was fair criticism. I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. It's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really want to just keep people, or I really just want to see people be kind to one another. Now, of course, CNN then goes on to criticize her for her past positions, mocking her in many ways. A long history of flagrant remarks. So Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be liking the attention that she's getting when it comes to the CNNs of the world. The View, for instance, because if you saw, and we're going to talk about it, Trump was critical of her, what was it, Friday, maybe Saturday, when he came out and basically said she's no longer a Republican. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene said, Trump calling me a traitor, quote, puts my life in danger. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. This has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families and neighbors, and is not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he has said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger. So Bash said, what do you think happened? What do you think the reason for this is? Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. Well, that kind of negates her point now that Trump says he wants Epstein files released. What's also interesting, and I brought you the kind of the I don't like the term conspiracy theory, but that's the term we'll use just for convenience. When it comes to what AOC said. AOC said that Marjorie Taylor Greene only changed because Trump essentially told her not to run for Senate or governor. Trump kind of confirmed that, and I don't have the exact quote here. Maybe I can find it quickly. But kind of confirming that over the weekend. Yes, Trump cuts ties with Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her wacky. I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past several weeks, all I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. She has told many people that she is upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore. But with 219 congressmen and women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia. That they too are fed up with her and her antics. And if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Now, he also had mentioned that it all seems to stem, and I don't have the exact quote here, they cut this out of the Times article, but it stems from him suggesting that she shouldn't run for Senate or for governor because the numbers weren't there. She's not popular enough to win at that statewide level. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene shot back saying, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these messages today. Apparently this was what sent him over the edge, the Epstein files. So she just sent that the day of? Okay. It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. So that's what she responded to. Now, she also says that Trump needs to refocus and go back to America first. This was on, again, the State of the Union on CNN. On Fox News, Trump had said, "Don't forget MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else, and MAGA wants to see our country thrive." So Bash says, do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did? Oh, my goodness. I have so many examples of this, too, later on that we'll get to, that it's become cliche. We've kind of joked about it here on the program, but it's the end of MAGA. It's the end of Trump. But Marjorie Taylor Greene said, well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put forth first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. Those are two issues I have been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came in last Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what makes America great again, and that's what it means. I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his efforts. I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people. So Bash following up saying, sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I can say that promoting H-1B visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American college and universities, those are not America First positions. Continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back home. And I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all. So your thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene? What is the end game here? Is it that she likes being kind of the Liz Cheney that gets all the media attention? Is it that she's still considering running for governor of Georgia or for senator in Georgia? What is the end game? Now, they called it a rambling, bonkers interview at the New York Post, saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene insisted that she still supports President Trump despite his epic takedown of her, while simultaneously questioning his MAGA bona fides in a madcap interview. While making overtures to end her red-hot feud with Trump, Greene repeatedly slammed the president, accusing him of being not focused enough on the U.S., as I mentioned. I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. I certainly hope that we can make up, she later said. Now, as I mentioned on Friday, Trump went nuclear on her, yanking his endorsement of her for re-election and accusing her of going far left. She, of course, again, blaming it on Epstein, but it's interesting now Trump is saying, okay, release the Epstein file. So what does that do to her argument? She said during the interview, I stand with these women, I stand with rape victims, I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations, and I stand with survivors of trafficking. I will not apologize for that. However, throughout the interview, she knocked Trump on a range of issues, including his welcoming of Syrian President Ahmed al-Shahar to the White House last week, his support of H-1B visas that I mentioned earlier, and his overseas trips. I could disagree with the president at times, especially this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years. Now, during his fiery screed against Greene on True Social, this is the quote that I was looking for, Trump suggested that her discontent with him was fomented after he sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance. Now, Greene announced in May that she wouldn't run for senator, and others have speculated that Trump's opposition to her running for a seat in the upper chamber prompted her to sour on him. She said that is absolutely not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to and on my own. And I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. It's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty. Not long after Greene passed on a run for Senate, Trump ordered strikes against 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities in a move that angered the congresswoman. She also pleaded with Trump to park Air Force One, as I mentioned. So there you go. That is your update on Marjorie Taylor Greene. But your thoughts now that Trump is calling for a reversal, really, here, and to release the Epstein file. So that kind of covers some of the breaking news this morning. We also have quite a few media updates. We have a lot of New York State updates that you're going to find, I think, very interesting. So stay with us. We're just getting warmed up on this Monday morning edition of Frankly Speaking. We'll be right back.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
This is a Sue the Collector Consumer Alert. Hi, my name is Jared Johnson with SueTheCollector.com. Did you know that repossessions are on the rise in America? If your car, truck, or motorcycle has been repossessed by an agent that broke a lock, assaulted you, or trespassed on your private property, you have rights. Call us for a free case review at 1-877-BAD-REPO. You pay nothing unless we win money for you. Call me now.
It's the Black Friday sales event at Chilson Wilcox with huge deals on new vehicles all over the lot. Starting with $11,300 savings on Ram, 0% for 72 months on the new Ram Bighorns. Save $9,381 on Wrangler and save $7,400 on Grand Cherokee Altitude X. At the Wrap Up the Year sales event, save $8,300 on Gladiator and Pacifica. And just announced, no payments for 90 days at the Black Friday sales event at Chilson Wilcox.
Low vision? Eyesight changing? You are not alone.
A guide dog user leaves work and gets on a bus.
Connecting with other blind people can expand possibilities.
Blind people talking on a bus, then separately walking outside.
We are making our own choices every day, but we are also stronger together. Learn more at blind.org.
Woman from the bus.
Hey kids, I'm home!
National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
In a few words. Urkel, glasses. Nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5:30.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Let's go to some viewer comments. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning, Mark. Had a great first day of gun season. 9-point buck at 9 a.m. Congratulations. That's a beautiful picture, Mark. That's a great way to start the season, that's for sure. I was not as lucky. But I do appreciate you sending the picture in, and that's one definitely to be proud of. So thank you for that. He also writes, I don't believe the Dems really want the Epstein files released. Bill Clinton is one of the bad boys, and there's probably a lot more. Yes, we've heard some other names mentioned recently, but yes, Bill Clinton was heavily involved with Epstein, according to the files that have been released. Comment from a different viewer. They brought up and I did not hear about this until I saw the coverage as well, which was about the Future of Democracy rally and community food drive. It was here in Centerway. It was a part of, I think it was the group Indivisible, but there's a youth chapter. This person writes in, Dora Leland, who's a teacher. I think she's also, she used to be some type of leader in the Democrat Party. I'm not sure if she still is. In red coat, well, because they sent along a picture, is a well-known disruptor, and the reason I quit going to most town halls because she would hijack the meeting and talk over those who were there to actually learn and hear from our party leaders. The coverage Saturday night showed a very scant crowd. That's the best I can say about that. The sad part is getting a better understanding of where our youth is coming from, and it's scary and sad, and where are they getting it from? Largely from media and teachers like this. Thank you very much for sending that in. I saw the coverage as well. Did not look like much of a crowd. Okay, speaking of the media, did you see Katie Couric, which I didn't know she was still active. I guess she has a podcast because everybody has a podcast. She went after Senator John Fetterman in what people are calling horrific. She wanted him to basically rebuke Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Throughout the episode, Couric appeared to press Fetterman to disavow both Trump and Kirk, but the Pennsylvania senator held his ground. At one point, Couric asked whether he thought it was appropriate that Kirk's body was flown home on Air Force Two, or if he should have been posthumously awarded the Medal of Freedom. She added that some critics felt those honors from the Trump administration were over the top in terms of mourning someone like Charlie Kirk. Imagine saying that. Someone has been assassinated for his political beliefs, and you say that it's essentially over the top. Fetterman said it was the administration's choice to make before Couric pressed him about Kirk's past rhetoric, which she said some would label extreme. Now, in response to Katie Couric's remarks and questioning, and what a weird avenue to go down and why she wanted John Fetterman. I mean, you could tell the long knives are out for John Fetterman because he actually has been kind of bucking his party just a little bit, not all the time. If you look, overwhelmingly supports Democrat issues, but there are times, such as the government shutdown, that he has went on the opposite side, you could say, of where the Democrats stand. So you can tell that Katie Couric cannot stand that, so has to try to paint him in a quarter. But the White House Communications Director, Stephen Chung, blasted the podcast, saying this washed-up idiot, Katie Couric, is an absolute ghoul. She tries to justify the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. Disgusting people like Katie should be ashamed and embarrassed forever. Now, to his point, Senator Fetterman noted that while he didn't agree with many of the things Kirk said, it was entirely appropriate to allow people to grieve and respect their space without taking the opportunity to push an argument and to remind people that, hey, I don't disagree, or I don't agree, excuse me. A father of young children was shot in public because of his political views, and that's a tragedy, and give people the space to grieve. He maintained that while he didn't agree with much of it, meaning Kirk's rhetoric, he would never justify what happened, and that he chose not to take the opportunity to argue his views after children lost their father in the most violent public way. After Fetterman added that extreme rhetoric makes it easier for extreme reactions or to justify them, Couric countered by saying that some would consider Kirk's rhetoric to be extreme. So Katie Couric essentially tried to justify, I guess, the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's unbelievable. Couric questioned Fetterman about his previous assertion that Trump is not an autocrat because his presidency is the product of a democratic election. Couric argued that history has shown that even leaders who come to power through elections can still govern in anti-democratic ways. So I have to ask, when you consider some of Donald Trump's behaviors and policies, like deploying federal forces to U.S. cities, undermining the Department of Justice's independent attempt to overturn the 2020 election, does that not trouble you deeply? Fetterman said, of course. But I think it's at this point now, we are not in an autocracy. We're in a democracy, and that's why they were able to shut our government down. And that doesn't mean that we appreciate what's happening. Anyway, we don't have to get into any more of this, but this is painting a larger picture of what the media is doing right now. And Katie Couric, I mean, ghoul is what that White House spokesperson called her, and there's a kind of appropriate language there, because to almost suggest that Charlie Kirk, well, some of his rhetoric caused this extreme, so almost blaming him for his assassination. But when we come back, we're going to talk more about, just quickly, about some of the media's. It's all over. It's all over for MAGA. It's all over for Trump. But if you are just joining us, Trump says the House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files in a stunning reversal, saying there is nothing to hide. So we'll talk about that if you'd like. Keep those comments, keep those waves coming in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
I see it all, but I'm human.
How can I keep going like this?
Who will listen to me when no one gets it?
Is there a safe space for me?
How will I handle it all? We all have a reason. 988 can help you find it. We hear you. Call, text, or chat 988 for emotional support and crisis services. It's free, confidential, and here for you 24/7.
RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior project that I did. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. Being on the recumbent, it felt a lot like flight, and I felt like I got a piece of me back. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. A comment from a viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. I read President Trump's post on Truth Social, and in my humble opinion, some things just don't need to be said. I support my president. I know how hard he works and where he wants to take our country, and that's to prosper and stabilize it again. But he doesn't need to do these things. As my grandmother always said, you kill more flies with honey. But we all have our cross to bear. Thank you very much for that comment. I see other comments coming in. We'll get to those in the next break. Here's some of the media updates. What used to be about once a week is now happening a couple times a day. The Daily Beast writes that MAGA sharpens the knives for Trump's ice maiden after president's miserable week. So it's just accepted that it's been a miserable week. Do you like how they do that in the headline? Donald Trump's longtime supporters are coming for White House gatekeeper Susie Wiles, blaming the president's so-called ice maiden for his missteps on everything from Jeffrey Epstein files to his America First agenda. After a turbulent week marked by criticism of the president's comments on affordability, skilled worker visas, Chinese students, and his halting response to the newly released Epstein emails, MAGA loyalists have openly accused his chief of staff of steering the president off course. Wiles, long viewed as one of the architects behind Trump's 2024 campaign revival and now a central force inside the West Wing, has spent years cultivating a reputation as a disciplined, discreet operative, someone who not just advises Trump, but tries to keep him focused and filters out the noise for him. But for some hardline conservatives and MAGA loyalists, her gatekeeping is now the problem. They always list these people that are supposedly conservative influencers, and I've never even heard of them. That's who they quote. But we'll continue. 10 days that shook Trump's second term. Jesus Mesa writes, the rewrite begins. Trump moved quickly to deflect blame. Trump wasn't on the ballot, he wrote on Truth Social. So that's after their election wins on Tuesday. Again, you're to believe, if you listen to the media's coverage, that last Tuesday's election was it last Tuesday? Or Tuesday before, excuse me. That was the biggest election in election history. That it was bigger than the landslide victory for Trump and Republicans last year. Then we continue. Latino support starts to slip. Then Trump had a Biden moment, which is interesting. They'll say that when they never talked about Biden's moments when he was actually in office. MAGA starts asking questions. Again, a lot of people that I just don't. I mean, I know Marjorie Taylor Greene, but now they love Marjorie Taylor Greene. Isn't that how interesting that is? And they don't completely. They still always make sure to bring up her negative sides and some of the things she said in the past. But they love giving her the attention because she's a Republican, bad-mouthing Republicans. Continuing, H-1B comments spark outrage on the right. The Epstein docs drop. Political fault line. These are, I guess, the 10 reasons why it was so bad for Trump. The 10 days that shook Trump's second term. Then we have from Andrew Sullivan, are the wheels finally falling off MAGA? Overreach, incoherence, and mass disinhibition may be triggering political gravity. You'd have gone broke betting against the resilience of the Trump phenomenon this past decade. He has survived 2 impeachments, 1 insurrection, 1 plague, 1 election, 1 incredibly close assassination attempt, several major lawsuits, and the passionate, undying hatred of 40% of the country. None of it counted. He's had, of course, some very lucky breaks, the mass migration and cultural extremism under Biden, along with the, we'll say, mess up of Joe's attempt to stay in power. But there are some signs that the entire MAGA operation is beginning to fray as its manic transgressions, dumb overreach, and intensifying contradictions become harder to ignore. I don't want to go through each of the examples, but I just think it's interesting. Again, quoting all these people that I don't know where they get the influencer label. So political gravity may be returning, and a future beyond this authoritarian madman is foreseeable once again. I haven't written this a lot lately, but I feel myself slightly emboldened this week. No hope, meaning no, K-N-O-W, not no hope. Or how about this? Behind the curtain. I got a bunch of them this morning. MAGA's metastasizing mess, according to Jim Vandhei. No part of the new media ecosystem was more ascendant, more powerful, and more influential in shaping public debate than MAGA was 6 short months ago. It helped elect Trump to a second term, defended Trump, pressure and punish any Republican who didn't back Trump. MAGA was Trump and Trump was full MAGA. MAGA is now mired in conflict over Israel, white nationalism, purity tests, and disputes among its biggest personalities. It's still overwhelmingly pro-Trump, but less relevant in shaping the president's agenda and less capable of uniting to shape perception and dominate conversation on the right. These days, MAGA can spend more time eating its own than feasting on liberals or establishment Republicans. Many Americans are unaware of the fracturing because they don't watch Tucker Carlson videos or listen to Ben Shapiro podcasts or debate America First on Rumble or X. They see flickers of MAGA fires when the mainstream media picks up on feuds, notably Tucker Carlson versus Shapiro over Israel and hate. But as Axios has shown in earlier deep dives, MAGA wholly dominates Republican media, much like Fox News and the National Review did at their apex. Anyway, why am I reading all these? Representative Ro Khanna, was on Meet the Press on NBC, and he was asked by Kristen Welker, I want to turn to another big issue. You are pushing for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Your joint bill with Thomas Massie is going to come to a vote on the House floor. It's expected this week. Do you think you have enough votes to pass it? Ro Khanna said we do, and there's nothing I have been prouder of or more meaningful than this work. The credit goes to the survivors. They'll all be at Capitol on Tuesday in a press conference. Massie, myself, and Representative Green are going. This was disgusting. Epstein had set up a rape island where rich men were abusing girls with impunity. There are thousands of victims, and rich and powerful men have buildings named after them, scholarships named after them. And this is not partisan. The Epstein class needs to go. Well, could you have a veto-proof majority? Welker asked. Ro Khanna said, I was hoping that, and Donald Trump started to say he'll unendorse people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's basically Massie and me versus the White House. They're calling members to the Situation Room. You know why Trump is losing his MAGA base on this? Yep. Did you know that Trump's losing his MAGA base on this? The reason he's losing it is he ran saying there's a corrupt governing elite that has shafted you, that this is the Epstein class versus forgotten Americans. And I'm going to stand up for forgotten Americans. He's forgotten those forgotten Americans, and we are saying that we are going to stand up for survivors, for American kids, and we're going to hold this class accountable. But yeah, again, this morning we learned that Trump is telling House Republicans that they should vote to release the Epstein files, basically to move on. Let's see. Oh, Zachary Wolf at CNN says on Epstein and Venezuela, Trump tries to rebrand. And in need of a reset on multiple policy fronts, the Trump administration isn't afraid of turning to some good old-fashioned rebranding. Tired of hearing about how Epstein emails released by a House Democrat feature Donald Trump? Trump asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate any Democrats who, like Trump, were Epstein associates and are mentioned in the email. As the House moves towards a bipartisan demand for the FBI to release its Epstein files, Trump is trying to flip the script on what he's now calling the Epstein hoax. I don't want to. Why am I getting through all this? All right, that's enough on media updates. We got a lot of comments, a lot of waves coming in. Keep them coming in. We've got, as I mentioned, Joe Barlow will be joining us in the 7 o'clock hour, and we do have a new song to add to the repertoire. She brought along a song to play, get us in the holiday spirit. So that'll be coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, and you'll learn how you could be a part of their holiday programming. Also, you'll hear about their upcoming craft sale. We have a couple other updates. We have a lot to get to when it comes to New York State issues. Probably the lion's share of the rest of the program will be on New York State issues. So you'll want to stay tuned because there's a lot on Governor Hochul. We know that Elise Stefanik is challenging. I have not heard anything more about Bruce Blakeman from over the weekend. I'm not sure if he's getting the coverage that he had hoped he would. I don't see anything. I don't see anything about an update from Bruce Blakeman, but we'll talk about Governor Hochul when we return. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
An albino baby buffalo was born.
Nearly 500 kilos of cocaine has been seized in a bus.
Day 1 of the National Glider Competition.
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
It's the Black Friday sales event at Chilson Wilcox with huge deals on new vehicles all over the lot. Starting with $11,300 savings on Ram, 0% for 72 months on the new Ram Bighorns. Save $9,381 on Wrangler and save $7,400 on Grand Cherokee Altitude X. At the Wrap Up the Year sales event, save $8,300 on Gladiator and Pacifica. And just announced, no payments for 90 days at the Black Friday sales event at Chilson Wilcox.
And we are back. Sorry about that little glitch there. Not sure what happened. I'm just looking at... Anyway, apologize over that. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Let's go to some viewer comments. As for Katie Couric, I could only think about the pomp and circumstances that surrounded George Floyd. What's the horse-drawn carriage? I'm not sure what that's a reference to. And the like, that went on for how long? And she can bash Charlie Kirk. She's just a perfect example of a leftist who apparently has little joy in her ice cream world. I like that. Mark writes in, personally don't care about the Epstein files. How about letting Trump work on the economy and grocery prices? They affect me and not the Epstein files. Let the past be the past. Thank you, Mark. Did you hear Michelle Obama was out over the weekend? And they asked her if she would ever run for president. And she believes that America is not grown up enough, not ready for a woman to be president. Now, they've tried to make that the argument of why Kamala lost, not because of the word salads or just not being very likable. They tried to suggest that had something to do with either her color or her sex. Well, Michelle Obama declared America isn't ready for a woman in the Oval Office, arguing men nationwide don't want to be led by a female president. She was promoting her new book, The Look, which comes out soon, I guess. As we saw in the past election, sadly, we ain't ready, she said, when reference to a female president. So again, putting the onus on the fact that not that Kamala Harris was a horrible candidate for so many various reasons. It had to be because of her gender. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. When asked by the host On whether her time in the White House paved the way for a woman to be president, Obama fired back that men are far from ready. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do, and there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. So again, that is why Kamala Harris, in case you're wondering, that is why she did not win the presidency. You did not vote for her because she is a woman. Hey, a couple quick updates here before we get into New York State issues. How am I doing on time? Okay. The head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture said the Trump administration is planning to have everyone receiving SNAP benefits to reapply after a probe into a bulk of Republican-led states allegedly found 186,000 cases of fraud. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins alleged that fraud was running rampant around the embattled SNAP program, claiming 186,000 deceased men and women and children in this country are receiving a check in 29 red states alone. Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? It's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program. Have everyone reapply for their benefits, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through SNAP or food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and that they can't survive without it. Now, she did not say when or how people would reapply for benefits, and the USDA did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. State SNAP administrators already require those receiving benefits to recertify their information as often as 6 months, with families expected to keep their income and personal information up to date. Despite the regular recertification process, Rollins alleged the program was corrupt, adding that 120 Americans have been receiving or had recently been arrested for committing SNAP fraud, a reference to last week's bust in Ohio. The case was a culmination of 11 months of investigation work into 17,000 illegal transactions that took place using SNAP benefits. These are the things that we're uncovering that for years no one has really ever dug into because the feds didn't have the system in place to do it. But we do now. The president has made this a priority, she added. We will fix the program. Now, when we started to hear, what was the number during the government shutdown? 42 million Americans were on SNAP benefits. I mean, just think of if even 1% of 42 million Americans that it's fraud, that there's some type of reason they shouldn't have it. You're talking about a major cleaning of house. So, again, USDA chief says everyone will have to reapply for SNAP benefits after claiming rampant fraud. Also, completely unrelated, we have so many things to get to this morning. Completely unrelated, but worth mentioning as an update, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed yesterday that Hamas will be disarmed no matter what, following reports that the U.S. would no longer be imposing the condition as part of President Trump's 20-point peace deal. Israeli media outlets claim that the White House was thinking about dropping the calls for Hamas to disarm after allegedly finding it too difficult to get other nations to commit peacekeeping troops to oversee the demilitarization of Gaza. Quote, in the 20-point plan and in any other case, this area would be demilitarized and Hamas would be disarmed, either the easy way or the hard way, Netanyahu said. That is what I have said, and that is what President Trump has said also. Netanyahu's warning comes as the uncertainty of the Gaza ceasefire looms, with bodies of just 3 hostages still under Hamas captivity. Once all the hostages are freed, the deal is supposed to set the groundwork for permanent peace, but there is still no clear path forward over Israel and Hamas's disagreement, which caused the previous ceasefires to collapse. The terrorist group has long maintained that they will neither cede their weapons nor power in Gaza until a pathway is set for Palestinian statehood, a condition Netanyahu has said he will never, ever agree to. Trump has repeatedly warned Hamas to disarm or face severe consequences, with the president insisting that an international coalition of troops would be deployed to demilitarize the Gaza Strip. Allies, however, remain hesitant to commit their soldiers to fight in Gaza, with Indonesia being the only nation willing to send as many as 20,000 soldiers. All eyes are now on Monday's vote at the United Nations Security Council, where members are set to enshrine Trump's peace deal, which states, quote, the conditions may finally be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian statehood once an end to the war is established. Israel, however, is allegedly lobbying the U.S. and other UNSC member states to change the wording and downplay the promise of a Palestinian state. Netanyahu saying, our opposition to a Palestinian state anywhere west of the Jordan River exists, is firm, and has not changed whatsoever. I've been pushing back against these attempts for decades, and I do so against external pressure and internal pressure as well. All right, we have a couple other updates when we return. Then we are going to get to New York State issues. We have a lot of New York State issues. That ties in with some updates on the Democrat Party. So many outlets are telling you that Gavin Newsom, just accept it, Gavin Newsom is the front runner in 2028. Why they're trying so hard, why they're pushing so hard, other than the fact they want him there, is kind of borderline pathetic at this point. But that is the talking points in the Democrat Party. We've got a couple other things about them as well. If you are just waking up, Trump says House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files in what they're calling a stunning reversal. The president's saying House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. It's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to reflect from the great success of the Republican Party. All right, there's the Corning whistle. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
You lather, rinse, moisturize, repeat, and repeat. But it never feels like enough. It's not your products. It's your water. Hard water leaves a mineral residue that clogs pores and dries out hair. Culligan water softeners remove damaging minerals, revitalizing brittle hair and dry skin. Upgrade your shower and skincare routine with Culligan, water you love.
Small businesses are the heart of America. Like you, these entrepreneurs started out with a dream and the drive to build a better life. If you have a small business idea to grow or challenge to face, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1964, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses. Today, they are the nation's largest nonprofit source of expert mentoring, resources, and education. Whether you're starting out, building back, or have worked at it for years, SCORE will match you with specialized mentors. Our thousands of volunteers provide the guidance and connections you need for free. Your success is waiting. SCORE is ready to help. Find a mentor today at SCORE.org.
Our beautiful view of historic Market Street in downtown Corning, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Let's go to some viewer comments. Jeffrey Epstein and his associates gave Stacey Plaskett, a Democrat from Virginia, $34,000 in campaign cash. I didn't know about that, but I know what this viewer continues to write. The New York Post reports Epstein was texting Plaskett in real time during the 2019 Michael Cohen hearing, feeding her questions to politically damage President Trump. I did see that. That is something that has been substantially underreported. Epstein was already a convicted sex offender when she took his money. He owned two islands in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He paid her, he prepped her, he told her good job. The victims deserve justice. The American people are entitled to answers. We deserve to know how deep this influence really is. Thank you very much. Comment from a viewer, and this is a good question. I don't have these numbers in front of me, but we'll take this viewer's word. There were 17 million people on Snap when Trump left office the first time. When he came back, 42 million. Is that right? Wow. That's a big difference. All right, Ken writes in, off topic, but did you see the state is planning on changing what we call the Miracle Mile, a section of State Route 14 from I-86 to Elmira Heights? It is currently 2 lanes in each direction. It is highly traveled as a quick path between Elmira Heights, I-86, and Horseheads. It serves multiple businesses, BOCES, a couple of housing developments, and the golf course. They intend to reduce it to 1 lane in each direction with a turning lane in the middle and bike lanes on each side. This change is due to the state requiring municipalities to increase the amount of bike lanes to qualify for state funding. This will change the Miracle Mile from a quick, year-round, efficient traffic corridor to a slow, congested, accident-prone disaster, all to accommodate a handful of bikes during the summer months. Just another Democrat politician's ludicrous plan on pushing for more people riding bikes in lieu of driving those nasty fossil fuel burning vehicles. They foolishly think if you build it, the masses will use it. I have seen only one bicycle using the newly constructed bike lanes in Horseheads and Elmira Heights, and I drive through those areas daily. If anyone else has concerns about their safety and congestion that this was ill-conceived project will cause, they should consider attending a meeting when one is announced to voice their concerns. Well, thank you, Ken. If you hear of any meetings, let me know. We'll make sure to promote it here on the program because that sounds like a nightmare. And those bike lanes, they're still not safe. I still don't believe they are, but I agree with your point, Ken. So please, if you hear anything, let me know. All right, we've talked about Canada quite a bit lately for some reason. I just wanted to pass this along to you as we talked about Obamacare a lot in these last couple of weeks because of the government shutdown. Lack of adequate health care is pushing Canadians toward assisted suicide. The family of an elderly man is speaking out about the terrible hospital conditions that led their father to request euthanasia before he died of natural causes. The family of Cleo Grayton, an 84-year-old retired diamond driller who died earlier this month in Ontario of natural causes after being approved for assisted suicide, is speaking publicly about their appalling experience in the Canadian healthcare system. According to the CBC, the elderly man told his family he would rather die than go back to Health Sciences North in Sudbury. And the recent stay there found Grattan, who was suffering from heart disease and kidney failure, spending one night in the emergency room and then being transferred to a bed sitting in the hallway on the 7th floor. There were no lights. All the bulbs in that hallway had been completely removed. The only light we had was almost like a desk lamp that had been bolted to the wall. Patients are passing by. Nurses are going by. No privacy, no compassion, no dignity. The visit took place in mid-October, after which Grattan decided to apply for medical aid in dying, or what you would call assisted suicide. Lynn said the nurses had to use headlamps to inspect his father's feet, and that the experience was just one thing after another, and it really opened our eyes to what's going on in our hospitals. My dad said, push for change. Make people aware of what's going on. Open the discussion. Bring it to your MP, your MPP. Keep going straight up. So just something to keep in mind when we talk about universal health care and how often have they pointed to Canada as kind of the beacon for successful health care. But we talked about it a long time, and this has been stories that have happened for decades now that we've heard about this horrible situation with their health care. Now we see Canadians pushing assisted suicide or going towards assisted suicide just to stay out of the quote-unquote health care system in Canada. All right, we got to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a couple quick things as we get ready to wrap up our number one. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
This is Jim from Famous Brands. We are ready for fall and loaded with all of your favorite brands. Great new deals are arriving every week. We have the largest selection of clothing and footwear in the Finger Lakes, all at below retail prices. Famous Brands, downtown Watkins Glen, where you're always looking good for less.
This is a Sue the Collector Consumer Alert. Hi, my name is Jared Johnson with SueTheCollector.com. Did you know that repossessions are on the rise in America? If your car, truck, or motorcycle has been repossessed by an agent that broke a lock, assaulted you, or trespassed on your private property, you have rights. Call us for a free case review at 1-877-BAD-REPO. You pay nothing unless we win money for you. Call me now.
Hasselson more than just your local hot tub and swimming pool store. Did you know Hasselson's carries Oakley, Costa, and Maui Jim sunglasses? Hasselson's also carries Luminox watches certified by the U.S. Navy SEALs. Hasselson's has the new all-in-one Metal Ridge wallets, easy to carry and easy to use. Hasselson's also carries card accessories, suspenders, leather belts, wallets, and dog toys. Hasselson's also has over 400 styles of men's and ladies' work and western boots and hikers. Stop in today and see why after 70 years it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hasselson's.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today with all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Let's go to some viewer comments. Yeah, let's vote Newscomb for president. He can drain the water out of our country and let it burn to the ground. Yeah, that's the ticket. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. Where were all these Congress people who claimed to care about the Epstein survivors 5 or 10 years ago? If they were so concerned about sex trafficking and rape victims, why did they let the border remain open under Biden's reign? Thank you very much. And also, someone sent me an article just as a kind of an update to what Ken had said. The New York State Department of Transportation will reportedly not move forward with proposed changes to the traffic layout on State Route 14 in Elmira Heights. According to the email from the New York State Department of Transportation, officials will not make the proposed changes after the feedback they were getting from community leaders. Well, that's great. Feedback. That's why you always have to be involved. Speak your voice. Okay, a couple quick things before we wrap up. U.S. Marines exchanged gunfire with suspected gang members in Haiti, according to officials. The U.S. Marines protecting the American embassy in Haiti exchanged gunfire with suspected gang members last week. Captain Stephen Keenan told Fox News Digital in an emailed statement late yesterday that Marines supporting embassy security operations were fired upon by suspected gang members in the capital of Port-au-Prince and returned fire on the evening of November 13th. Quote, U.S. Marines are committed to the safety and security of U.S. embassies worldwide and respond to all threats with professionalism and swift, disciplined action. Also, we learned yesterday that President Trump said that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro wants to talk with the U.S. as tensions mount between the nations, but stressed that he had not planned or authorized any land-based military strikes against the South American nation. Speaking with reporters on Air Force One, Trump said a recent U.S. designation of a Venezuelan-linked cartel gives the government the authority to target Maduro's assets or infrastructure. He added that while such actions are possible, no decision has been made. He said, quote, it allows us to do that, but we haven't said we are going to do that. We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk. All right. When we come back in our number 2, also, if you are just joining us this morning, Trump said he wants the House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files because there's nothing to hide. That is the breaking story this morning. When we come back in the 7 o'clock hour, we've got a lot of New York State issues that I know you're going to find very important. We're also going to talk a little bit later on to Joe Barlow from the Crystal Chords. We're going to hear about a couple of events that they have coming up and how you can join the Crystal Chords for their holiday performance. So that'll be in the 7 o'clock hour, of course, as well. We've got a couple things here about Regents. We have a great opinion piece here at the New York Post. I saved it. I think it came out Saturday, so it's a little bit old, but it was about Kathy Hochul's quote-unquote reversal on some of these green energy programs. We're going to talk about that as well. And a little bit about the Democrat Party, a little bit about everything. How about that? And we'll keep reading your comments, of course, as we always do. It's hard to believe that our number 1 is in the book. How did you do deer season? Beautiful buck that Mark got. I'd like to know how it went for you. Also, if you went to Twin Tiers Comic-Con, did you have fun? Send in some pictures. Tell me how it went. Our friends at Twin Tiers Comic-Con, who joined us a couple times this season, when I say season, how long they've been planning the Comic-Con, seemed like they were having a good time with it. It sounded like they were going to have a good crowd. So if you went, what were your thoughts? And just your thoughts on all the issues of the day. Is Gavin Newsom the star of the Democrat Party? Well, Politico tells you you better get used to it because he is. We also know, well, what are your thoughts about the Epstein file reversal by the president? But we also know that AOC's name is now being thrown around as well. So all that, much more. Stay with us. We'll be right back with hour number 2 after this.
Your tap water is delicious. I know, right? It's this Culligan Smart drinking water system. What do you think is going on in there?
I'm smelling a touch of chlorine.
Yeah, I'm detecting some PFAS.
I'm also getting notes of lead.
Perfection.
Sending it up.
Here we go.
Certified to reduce more than 70 contaminants. It's like having your own team of water experts. See the smart difference at Culligan.com.
Did you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at iqairfoundation.org.
And welcome to hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I'm so glad that you've joined us this morning. Let's go to some viewer comments before we kick off our discussion on New York State. First, the turning lane bike lane is okay with me. This is in reference to the Miracle Mile discussion we've been having. It would have made the 40 mile per hour speed limit stick better. Those that travel it know that it pushes 55 most of the time. Thank you for that. Comment from a different viewer, putting them all together here. I have a feeling the Democrats are going to go sort of silent on the Epstein files now. That's a very good point. Could be. They may have flown a little too close to the sun, because if you are just joining us this morning, if you're just waking up, Trump calling yesterday for the release of the Epstein files, for Republicans to vote for the release of the Epstein files. They're calling it a stunning reverse, but he says there's nothing to hide. So there you go. Comment from a different viewer. On MAID, M-A-I-D, meaning medical assistance in dying in Ontario, it's how the province is saving money on healthcare. They've admitted this. I'm from Ontario and saw the terrible decline in healthcare due to unchecked immigration. My dad has spent at least $100,000 to get life-saving medical care in America. He's been offered MAID, again, medical assistance in dying, many times over the past 2 years. It makes him feel worthless, and it's heartbreaking. It's not what everyone here in New York thinks. It's terrible care. The wait list just to get a doctor assigned to you is over 2 years. Now that we live in America, we are getting health care, and we love it. My kid's got the MRI she needs for many years within 24 hours of requesting it. And we interviewed doctors before we chose one. Unheard of in Ontario. Well, thank you for giving that insider perspective. We really appreciate it. It sounds like a horrible situation there where people are encouraged to essentially be killed. Not essentially be killed, suicide, assisted suicide, just to save on the overall costs of healthcare in Canada. Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. A couple quick things about New York. Let's get right into it. High schools, someone had mentioned this last week, and they said it's sad that Climate Fact Friday Bob has gone into retirement because this is a perfect topic for him. High schools across New York every year graduate kids who can barely read or do basic math. Yet, those at the State Board of Regents are adding a new climate science requirement. Starting in 2027, the latest piece of the Regents' absurdly named New York Inspires plan will force kids to teach K through 12 students about what causes climate change, how it affects ecosystems and people, and the possible solutions. The powers that be in Empire State Education are apparently worried that some teachers might be giving students the wrong message, that they're not trying to indoctrinate them enough about global warming. We have our doubts whether obscenely overpaid State Education Commissioner Betsy Rosa or the board led by Chancellor Lester Young Jr. have the knowledge base and critical thinking skills to oversee the setting of a solid climate science curriculum. This move is simply fresh testimony to their politics-first approach to their duties. They spent the past few years undermining academic standards, watering down state proficiency exams, and easing high school graduation requirements. Even as independent testing shows New York kids treading water in the middle of the national pack, despite highest in the nation spending in the name of K through 12 education. Rosa and company are focused on hiding the failures of New York's public schools, not fixing them. Pretending that they're taking education into the future with buzzy climate education is just another part of that con job. The only thing New York inspires under this crew is an accelerating exodus of families who want better lives for their children. Also, since we're talking about children, this is something that was easily predictable when they legalized marijuana, but teen pot use is exploding in New York after years of decline, just 3 years after the Empire State legalized it back in 2021. Nearly 1 in 5 kids under 21 now report using cannabis, according to a New York Impact report. Marijuana poisoning cases have skyrocketed 56% among New Yorkers under 19. 56% increase in marijuana poisoning. From 649 back in 2021 to 1,104 cases in 2023. We've also seen a 70% jump in those poisonings overall. As many as 95% of the poisoning cases in teens involve edibles. Kevin Sabat, president of Smart Approaches to Marijuana, said, "We have a record number of young people using marijuana on a regular basis. We have record numbers of hospitalizations because of poisoning from these edibles, and our lawmakers don't seem to have a plan. The THC levels are off the charts. This is not your Woodstock weed. Today's marijuana is so much stronger than it has ever been. We learned how to genetically breed it to be so much stronger. We become better farmers, essentially, and so today's marijuana is genetically altered to increase the THC levels to get you high. Legalizing pot hasn't put the kibosh on unlicensed dope dens either. A legal loophole has enabled pot sellers to stay in business despite cops' efforts, along with the state's attempts to close the legal loopholes." The shocking report estimated that in 2024, a staggering 3,000 illegal marijuana shops compared to the just 270 legal shops. "Nothing's being done about this," slammed Kathleen Kelly, who lost her 17-year-old son after he took one hit from a potency-packed joint bought at an unlicensed city shop. "We have these smoke shops all over the place where 17-year-olds, 15-year-olds, who knows how old, can walk in there and buy these things." So something very predictable. Now, if you are just joining us, we will be talking with Joe Barlow here in just a little bit about the Crystal Chord, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Get ready to get in the Christmas spirit. All right, about New York. First of all, President Trump indicated yesterday that he plans to meet with Zohran Mamdani and said that they'll, quote, work something out in what could be a very interesting meeting. Trump has for months slammed Mamdani, labeling him a communist and predicting the ruin of his hometown, New York, if he were to win. He also threatened to deport Mamdani, who was born in Uganda and become a naturalized citizen, and to pull federal money from the city. Mamdani rose from an obscure state lawmaker to become a social media star and symbol of the resistance against Trump. I guess he is a symbol of the resistance. I just saw him as a symbol of the Democrat Party and where it stands today, more leaning towards this socialism. He campaigned on an array of progressive policies and a message that was stark opposition to Trump, as we know. I don't need to go through all Mamdani, do you? Because representatives from Mamdani did not respond with a comment. Trump expressed a sentiment on Sunday saying, "The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us. We'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York." So there you go. Trump plans to meet with Mamdani and says he'll work something out with the mayor-elect. All right. I'm excited to bring you this story. And we got a couple other things about Mamdani. But I'm excited to bring you this story and then a update from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. Oh my goodness, so many comments coming in. But the New York Post editorial board says, don't be fooled by Kathy Hochul's latest pause of another toxic law. We have to give a wobbly yay to Governor Hochul's pause of an idiotic green mandate, since her record tells you she'll let the pain kick in once the next election's safely over. So we know right now it is delayed, but that also means we also know that it will eventually be enforced if she is to win re-election. So keep that in mind if you want to get active in this upcoming gubernatorial race. On Wednesday, the governor officially put off her ban on natural gas in new homes and buildings under 7 stories, yielding to upstate Assembly Democrats' concerns that the mandate has hiked construction costs, threatening their re-election chances. but voters have every reason to believe the mandate will return once Hochul's pass the 2026 elections, just as her congestion toll pause ended after the 2024 election. And I know that Elise Stefanik mentioned that, and we brought it to you on Friday's program. It's not like she's shown the least sign of taking up our challenge to axe New York's insane climate laws completely. Previously, due to take effect on January 1st, the All-Electric Building Act pretends that forcing a switch to electric heat and cooking will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, even though New York's electric supply relies on burning more fossil fuel than it did a decade ago. Worse, needlessly upping demand for electricity, as the state's electric vehicle mandate also does, stresses the transmission grid, while other climate laws endangers the reliability of the power supply by forcing it to depend on highly variable solar and wind generation, which is also more expensive. In another gesture to energy realism, Hochul is trying to encourage new nuclear plants and even recently okayed the Williams NESE natural gas pipeline, which New Jersey regulators also unblocked, with both states yielding to pressure from the Trump administration. New York got stuck with the insane climate action plan when then Governor Andrew Cuomo was eyeing a future presidential run. It never made sense except as a symbolic trophy to impress Democratic primary voters. But that's been enough for Hochul to largely keep supporting it, even as it forces utility bills higher without doing anything to save the planet. If the governor were serious about ensuring long-term affordability for average New Yorkers, especially for young people wanting to own a home or to rent an apartment at a reasonable price, she'd push for outright repeal of the All-Electric Building Act come January, then following with as much rollback of the climate action agenda as she can manage. But with her eye on fending off a left-wing primary challenger, and I've got some news about that as well, as she seeks re-election, all she'll do is delay the pain. Voters should not be fooled. The only way to get long-term affordable energy is to evict every Democratic office holder you can. What a great point from the New York Post. But yes, now if Governor Hochul, there's kind of a threat out there by the Democrat Socialists of America. And this is also predictable. We predicted it on the program numerous times recently that this far left group is going to challenge Hochul if she doesn't adhere to every demand that Mom Donnie makes, whether it's taxing the rich, these type of things. So if she does not support them, they have already threatened that they will challenge. We know that got some pushback when she made the reverse on that by environmentalist groups. As a matter of fact, we have a piece here. Hochul was named a leader in climate action. Here's what environmentalists say about that. Protecting our environment is personal to me, Hochul originally said. I was born at a time and in a place where orange smoke billowed out of factory smokestacks, literally blocking the skies, with a horrible stench, and I can still recall to this day, while also dumping toxic waste into the world's largest freshwater lakes. So she received one of the 100 most influential climate leaders of 2025. I brought that story to you not that long ago. But environmentalists have a far less rosy view of Hochul's record. Elizabeth Moran, New York policy advocate for Earth Justice, said, if I was to give the governor a grade based on the average, it would not be high marks. I'm not going to deny that we have seen good things that the governor has done. However, in so many ways, the governor has taken the state in the wrong direction when it comes to climate and environmental protection. So she's not going far enough, folks. Some of the recent policy decisions are head scratchers. Can't win for losing. Kathy Hochul, not an environmentalist enough. All right, we got to take a short break. When we come back, another thing on this one on from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Joe Barlow coming up here shortly with a new song for us too. So stay with us.
And remember, you can call me anytime.
Anytime?
Oh, this is my client.
Hello! Injury attorney William Mattar always puts his clients first.
I gotta take this.
There you go.
So, I gotta take this.
He's recovered millions for injured accident victims.
Easy out, easy out. Ooh, it's mine.
This is William.
Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
To your first place.
Experts agree Toyota value can't be beat. Drivers agree Toyota quality rides long and strong. Add hybrid choices like no other, and you'll win the long game by a country mile. Toyota.
Grab Black Friday savings now until December 1st. Lease a new RAV4 with all-wheel drive for just $289 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
The American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge communities offer a free home away from home, closer to cancer care. People are meant to be together. Learn more to help keep it that way.
Is this your mom?
Yes.
And that's your dad?
Nope.
I'm the father.
Even if you're the father, you're lying.
My family does not like my boyfriend.
Solid family.
I've had enough of this. I'm not your mommy.
Now you're just talking crazy.
Don't do that. I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother.
Can't cross mama and come in here and get treated nice. Your case is dismissed and so are you.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street Corning. Let's go to some viewer comments. Ken writes in, did you see 60 Minutes yesterday? I missed it, nope. The newest fake scandal has just landed. They accused Trump of pardoning the head of a cryptocurrency exchange that the Biden administration railroaded into prison in exchange for the Saudis' investment of $2 billion into the Trump's new cryptocurrency exchange. I admit that I am tainted by the fact that the Democrats and legacy media lie and use disinformation constantly to harm Trump and the Republicans, so I don't believe most of what comes out of their mouths. I do hope that Trump has enough proof on his side to prove that they are just trying to damage him again and that he sues CBS into oblivion. Thank you, Ken. Comment from sorry. Continuing here. Got so many here that I keep copying and pasting in a weird order. Okay. Next comment from a different viewer. New York State looks pretty good next to Canada. Maybe we need to promote moving here from Canada to replace those leaving. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frank. Good morning. Canadian healthcare has been a mess for over 30 years. Yes, thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. The underlining message of New York State's requiring schools to teach kids about the environment is to brainwash kids into believing that every form of energy but electricity is bad. The payoff for the radical nuts behind this mandate will come once the kids are old enough to vote for an all-electric state. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. The governor didn't officially put off the ban. The lawyer stipulated to it after a request for a temporary injunction from the people that were suing. What this could do is speed up the case, and the Second Circuit Court will not wait until next election to decide this. That doesn't mean Kathy will reinstate it, but I wouldn't trust her. So essentially, yes, she did give in via the lawyers, but that was just an offering from her temporarily. Comment from a different viewer. The U.S. Mint will no longer mint pennies. So check your pennies. Some of them could be worth millions, according to a new report. Okay. Thank you very much. And Ken writes in, I do hope it is true that New York State Department of Transportation is not moving forward with the modification to the Miracle Mile. I've read the news report, and the word that sticks in my mind is that they are currently not moving forward. We should all pay attention and see if any under-the-radar meetings get held. They have already started the planning and spent money on drawings and preparatory work on the bridge over the railroad tracks. And since the state's mindset is that they know what's best for us upstaters, I would stay tuned. Good point, Ken. If you hear anything, please let us know. If anybody hears anything, please let us know. Okay. Do I have time for this before we get to Joe? Joe Barlow is going to be our guest here in just a moment. Phil Palmisano says, with the news that the state is delaying the All-Electric Buildings Act indefinitely due to ongoing litigation in federal court, I thought it prudent to talk about how this is great news for New Yorkers. The act, which bans all new construction from having gas hookups, was flawed and dangerous from the word go. A few months ago, I traveled the state to warn about the state's radical energy policies and to let people know about the lack of affordability, reliability, feasibility, and energy choice in the state energy policies have advanced by the governor and Democrats in Albany. The governor and Albany Democrats are advancing this policy despite the fact that 71% of New Yorkers, including 76% of independents, do not want a ban on natural gas, and 2/3 want there to be a balance between renewable resources and natural gas, including 74% of Democrats. For years, my colleagues and I have warned that the radical energy climate agenda being pushed by Albany Democrats would make life more expensive for New Yorkers, and now it is finally happening. Under the not-so-watchful eye of Governor Hochul, we have seen energy affordability, reliability, feasibility, and consumer energy choice take a back seat as they continue to rubber stamp the radical Green New Deal agenda in New York. Our Democratic colleagues told us we were simply fear-mongering, but the fact of the matter is we were right all along. The average New York family and business will continue to pay more every month while sacrificing energy choice, reliability, and risking overwhelming the grid. If you're just joining us, this is Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. The fact of the matter is, even though 60% of New Yorkers heat their homes with natural gas and 40% of our generation comes from natural gas, Governor Hochul and Albany Democrats' energy policies are simply designed to dismantle the affordability and reliability of natural gas infrastructure, supply, and delivery systems. It's designed to take away consumer choice on how you heat your home, cook your food, power your buildings, and the vehicles you drive. It will jeopardize the reliability of the grid, leading to dangerous and deadly blackouts, and will continue our nation-leading out-migration of more New York families, farmers, small businesses, and manufacturers leaving our state. There's no doubt that if the All-Electric Buildings Act is allowed to be implemented, it will certainly result in higher costs for new homes and building construction, continued skyrocketing utility bills, loss of good-paying union jobs, and a dangerous jeopardization of our state's energy grid. The irony of all of this is that these out-of-touch policies do nothing to meaningfully make an impact on global emissions, as we mentioned that in the past. And while we continue to see the negative impacts of the New York Green New Deal policies, we can take a temporary sigh of relief, knowing this particular part of it will not be implemented at this time. But my promise to you is that every day I will continue to work hard to make sure to point out that our state's energy policies absolutely must prioritize energy affordability, reliability, feasibility, safety, fuel diversity, and energy choice to help ensure that ratepayers and the economy of New York are not sacrificed for the sake of progressive virtue signaling for votes by the governor and downstate Democrats. Thank you, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, for all his hard work on that issue. Okay, if you are just joining us, Trump is telling House Republicans that they should vote to release the Epstein files, saying that there is nothing to hide. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. It's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. So your thoughts on that, your thoughts on what we've talked about with New York. But when we come back, Jo Barlow is going to be our guest. She's going to tell us all about the Crystal Chords, and you have to stay tuned. After our interview, we're going to play a special little tune by the Crystal Chords. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Every day is a chance to do something meaningful. At Quick Fill, it can start with a tank of gas or a cup of Bradley Street coffee. Free every day in November with a purchase of our Operation Give Thanks mug. Whether you're fueling up, purchasing a mug, or making a donation, you're part of something bigger. Through Operation Give Thanks, you can feel proud knowing you're helping make a difference in the lives of veterans and their families.
Having a safe home is essential to many aspects of our lives. From a sense of community and safety, to physical and mental health, to economic security and independence. Most homes in our communities are not accessible and are not designed to accommodate the changes that come with age, including the risk of falling. The Older Adults Home Modification Program helps reduce the risk of falls, improves safety, and increases accessibility and independence. Through this program, Rebuilding Together works with older adults to provide no-cost preventative home repairs so our neighbors can safely age in place in the homes and communities they love. To learn more, visit rebuildingtogether.org/safeathome.
The Fox Sports app isn't just any sports app. It's your sports app.
For the touchdown!
Yeah, yours. Your teams. Your highlights. Your scores. Your stories. Just choose your favorites to get more of what you want.
To the end zone!
And of course, stream your teams live. The best part is free with your pay TV subscription. Touchdown! Grab your
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and Joe returns to that studio. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
Oh, I love it. You've got so much going on. Let's start with the holiday chorus because I actually practice begins tomorrow.
Yeah, it really does. It's happening so fast. This time of year, we're really busy with holiday prep, and there's so much going on. Everybody gets like that. So, the holiday chorus is a lot of fun. We do this every year. We have women come from the community, anybody who wants to as a guest kind of sing, and they practice with us for a few weeks to learn a few holiday songs. And then it's Tuesdays, starting this Tuesday, one after the other, for a few weeks. And then on December 16th, which is our Tuesday night holiday concert, all our guests will be singing with us.
Oh,
it'll
wonderful.
be fun. Yeah.
What goes into picking the songs? Do you have different songs every year?
We throw a few new ones each year, and we have some old favorites too. Okay. So some of them are a little traditional, some of them are more swingy and fun. Yeah, so we add something new each year.
And we're going to play a little bit of that music later on in the program. But people should know it's 6:45 till 9 p.m. the practices each Tuesday. And then you're going to perform on Tuesday, December 16th, and that's at the First United Methodist Church, 1034 West Broad Street. Do you find that people, how do they feel as they build up to that performance? Because I know a lot of times you have amateurs, right? I mean, it's open for anybody.
And we're all amateurs too.
Right.
So, but when people are new to the singing, we just want them to relax and have fun. Nobody has to be perfect. Nobody has to have prior experience. I certainly didn't when I joined the chorus. And it's just really fun to see people blossom and get confident, and once they've learned the songs, they're just singing away and having a good old time.
I'm sure.
It's also all about friendship, so we get to know some new people, and they get to know us. They don't have to stay till 9 o'clock, though. We really only keep the guests for about an hour.
For the practice.
We practice for an hour or so, and then they can go home if they want to, and we'll finish up the rest of our practice.
So so it doesn't have to be all the way to, basically this is supposed to be fun, so do what you can, right?
Just for fun.
Do what you can. And we'll keep people updated so that you won't forget when the performance nears.
Yeah, it would be good for people to go to the website, crystalchords.com, or look at the poster that you're going to be posting on your site, because there's a way to sign up for it. And if they sign up, we can send them learning tracks so they can learn by ear, and also sheet music so that they can see what we're doing. And if they want to practice a little before they come, or at least be familiar with what we're doing, that'll help.
And again, I just want to stress that you don't need to read music. You don't need to be a pro. This is supposed to be fun and get you into the Christmas spirit. You see the website on the bottom of the screen there. You can also email director@crystalchords.com. And as if that you're not busy enough, you said, let's do a holiday craft and vendor fair. This was really popular. You've only been doing this, what, a couple of years?
Yeah, this will be our 8th annual.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's scary, how time flies.
Yeah, we have people who come back year after year, and then we always have a bunch of new ones, too. Yeah. So it's just a lot of fun.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask, it's such a popular event, so it's probably easier for you to set it up now, for everybody involved, because they probably just call you back at that right around the time of the year and say, hey, we want to be a part of it, right?
What I do is I email out first to all the vendors we had last year, then to all the people on the waiting list from last year, and then we open it up to the general public. So, a lot of people are just eager to sign up right away.
And that's coming up right around the corner too. Saturday, November 22nd, from 10 a.m. till 3 at the at the Horseheads American Legion. Obviously, holiday craft and vendor fair is pretty self-explanatory, but people can get all their Christmas shopping done. How do Crystal Chords participate? Are you just there to help and make things run smoothly, or do you guys perform a little bit? What do you do?
Well, we hope to informally do a few, a couple songs here and there. If all the members of my quartet are there, we'll do a song or two.
Yeah.
So it's very informal, though, and mostly there's a lot of running around. People are busy making everything happen.
I'm sure, because over 40 vendors. That's very impressive, especially for that time of year.
47, I think, this year. Yeah, so it's going to be
something. And I know that getting 40 vendors, because there's other craft fairs and things this time of year too. So that's very impressive. Do you want to tell us some of the vendors and craft people that will be there?
Yeah, I'll just give you an idea of what kind of things people might find. And I'm going to look at my list, because I've been signing people up for months, and it's all a jumble in my head now, So we've got artists with original artwork. We have a children's book author who's coming with her books and stuffed animals to go with them.
Very nice.
All kinds of wood crafts, beautiful pottery. We have a lot of holiday wreaths and decor and ornaments, things like that. Honey, homemade soaps. There's a guy with Corningware and Pyrex.
Oh, neat.
natural skincare, crochet and macrame, jewelry, cozy things to wear, stuffed animals, and not last but not least, baked goods.
Good.
We have some really good bakers.
I'm sure.
Who are coming with cookies, pies, all kinds of things.
Is it too late to sign up to be a vendor?
We're full right now, but the poster that you're putting
Mm-hmm.
on the website has a place that they can email if they're interested. And you never know, somebody might drop out.
Drop
at the last
out. So
minute.
if you want to contact me at the number at the bottom of the screen, I can get you that whole email. But most importantly, just attend, get your Christmas shopping done, have a fun afternoon out on November 22nd from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Horseheads American Legion is a great venue for that.
It
too.
really is. It's huge,
I know.
and
Plenty
they've
of
been
room.
very good to us, and we have a good time doing it. There's a nice central location.
Yes.
For people.
And it's got good parking, and just it's a great location.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go, you're going to be on the telethon again this year, right?
Absolutely.
We've got some exciting news. We've got another matching offer like we did last year.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And you made the match last year.
We did, and
yeah.
I've already talked with Sally Sharmy about it because we have to. This has become a very big fundraiser for us. So
That's
we've got
wonderful.
to. Yes, I think it's wonderful, and everybody loves your music. People stop me all year to tell me how much they like the Christmas
that's
show.
so nice.
Isn't that nice?
Well, we'll have some new songs for you
Good.
this year. Yeah.
Good. And I can't wait to hear how about all the holiday chorus goes and the holiday crafts, and because I know we always do an interview during the telethon, so
yeah,
by then
we'll
we'll
do
have a
that.
better idea of how everything's going. So wish everybody luck that joins up to be a part of the Christmas.
Thanks. And for these events, just remind people just go to crystalcourts.com.
Yeah, it's right there on the bottom of the screen. Don't
Everything's
miss it.
right there. Yeah.
Yep. Sign up, have fun, get in the Christmas spirit early, right?
Great.
Joe,
Yeah.
thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks a lot,
All
Frank.
right, we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
William Mattar has a reputation for being a good guy.
Because I am a good guy.
For being focused on motor vehicle accident cases.
Because I focus on motor vehicle accidents.
For fighting for his clients.
Because I fight for my clients.
If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, it matters who you hire. It matters in the experience as well as the results. Call William Mattar. Visit WilliamMattar.com.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
You lather, rinse, moisturize, repeat, and repeat. But it never feels like enough. It's not your products. It's your water. Hard water leaves a mineral residue that clogs pores and dries out hair. Culligan water softeners remove damaging minerals, revitalizing brittle hair and dry skin. Upgrade your shower and skincare routine with Culligan, water you love.
After work, reduce your stroke risk. The initial treatment for AFib is often to stabilize your heart rate, but controlling your heart's rhythm may be just as important for long-term health. Ask your doctor how to get in rhythm and stay in rhythm. Learn more at stopafib.org.
Name something with a diamond in it.
Diamondback rattlesnake.
It's in the name. Name a low-calorie food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Watch it weeknights. Share it the next day.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Share in the fun. Weeknights on Family Feud. 7 and 7:30.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. And thank you to Joe for being on the program. And let's have a special song from the Crystal Chords called Warm and Fuzzy. All right. Thank you for sending that along, Joe. We appreciate that. Okay, let's get to some viewer comments. We got a lot of them. Trump is right again. Release the files about Epstein and just get over it. Just get it over with. Excuse me. Enough already. Thank you. Comment from a different viewer. Did you know it is costing the taxpayer $3,000 a week to house and feed the National Guard at Elmira Correctional? They are also paid extra. Don't know how much that is. Thank God our governor is looking out for us. Said with heavy sarcasm. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. Frank, the cost of building a home in New York State is already out of control. We looked at building a small house. It was over $251 a square foot. Show me where something out in this country is selling for $251 a square foot. Septic system has doubled for basically your waste going into a tank, and they tell you to pump it every 3 or 4 years. So the likelihood of it going to the drain field is zero if you follow this maintenance. But the price is doubled. I did the math on a holding tank alone. You could save $20,000 over 20 years, maybe more, depending on the size of the family. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. The Green New Deal is a total lie. The real truth is government is raising prices on useless energy options. Wake up. Comment from a different viewer. Hochul is not doing the right thing for New York. She is trying to postpone getting exposed by the impending lawsuit concerning gas energy. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. Trust but verify. 60 Minutes has shown its true colors before. And finally, if anyone takes the time to learn about the Green New Deal, they will realize it's not about climate. It's about stealing taxpayer money. Wow, a lot of great comments, a lot of different topics we've been discussing this morning, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you. As was so predictable, we had said on this program, I had said it numerous times, the fact that Mamdani did not endorse Hochul, to me, says that there's going to be a far left primary challenge to Hochul, someone from the Democrat Socialists of America. Well, as the New York Post cleverly put it, Kathy Hochul's between a block and a hard place. Governor Kathy Hochul's already on the re-election hot seat as liberal politicians and activists warned her Sunday to support Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's tax hike plan or get voted out of office. The Democrat Socialists of America, empowered and gaining mainstream influence after Mamdani's win in the mayoral election this month, held a Tax the Rich rally in Union Square as Democrat state lawmakers warm to the tax increases over worries they could face primaries and the wrath of liberals in next year's election. DSA member and Brooklyn State Senator Jabari Brizpor told those gathered that he twice tried to work with Hochul on passing universal child care legislation only to get rebuffed. Kathy Hochul, if you get a third strike, you're out, Brizpor said to a big round of applause at the rally. There's no way to get universal child care without raising taxes on the rich, and that Hochul has to cooperate. So if Hochul does sabotage it and blocks it, then I think the plan is that she has to go. So she can't. This goes to show you how she's not a political kingmaker like she wants to be. She's not very smart when it comes to politics because she endorsed Mamdani, held rallies for Mamdani, even though he wouldn't endorse her, which was a huge red flag. She tried to salvage that by saying, oh, he wants to endorse. It's just on our time frame. Now we're learning, as we all knew, as was so predictable, that that is not the case. Mamdani wants the state government to increase taxes on the wealthy and up the corporate tax to pay for his agenda, which includes free universal child care and bus service and ramping up of housing construction. Hochul endorsed the Democrat Socialist in the general election, but has said she would hold the line on taxes, a stance that immediately put her at odds with Mamdani and his now energized supporters. Critics and political insiders have said Hochul created the situation by some of her own doing, with her support from Mamdani having empowered the left wing of the party. DSA-backed challenges are now possible for anyone who doesn't go along with its extensive policy goals. And don't think for a minute they're not energized. Of course they are. So they're looking at an opportunity of primarying a lot of these people. The sad thing is a lot of these people will end up backing DSA policies because they don't want to be challenged. But guess what? DSA, Democrat Socialists of America, are very... what's the word I want to use? They're never happy. You could give them 99.9% of what they want, and they'll still challenge you because that 0.1%. They believe that their policy demands must be met. DSA co-chair Gustavo Gordillo set the tone at the start of the rally, saying the DSA member Mamdani's win in the mayoral election provides a mandate for tax increases, saying, quote, the corporate press and the political establishment tell us it won't be possible to tax the rich. They're saying Governor Hochul is opposed to raising taxes. Well, Governor Hochul, 12 days ago on Election Day, over 1 million voters in New York made it very clear what we want. The political threats come as state lawmakers are already ready to act on the tax plan weeks before Mamdani takes office. State Senator John Liu, a Democrat from Queens, and Assemblywoman Farah Sofrant Forrest, a Democrat from Brooklyn, just introduced a bill that would allow the city to impose a 2% surcharge on New Yorkers' incomes over $1 million, leading to more of this mass exodus. Under the bill, an individual making $1.5 million would face a surcharge on the $500,000 above the threshold. They claim the surcharge would raise $4 billion a year, not mentioning how much it will cost the state and people and the high-earning people leaving. The revenue from the tax hike would go to expand health care, affordable housing, universal child care, transit improvements, safe streets, and other essential needs. New Yorkers are insufferably squeezed by stagnant wages and escalating costs, a crisis that is only getting worse with new federal policies designed to benefit the wealthiest and punish working people, said Liu. It's entirely fair and appropriate to ask the highest income people who just got a 2.6% tax cut from Donald Trump to support a 2% increase in order for New York to generate the revenue needed to strengthen our economy and not leave working New Yorkers behind. Liu's spokesman, Scott Sieber, said the senator introduced the millionaire's tax bill following discussions with other senators and fully expects the bill's co-sponsors as the legislative session opens in January. State Senator Mike Giarnis, Democrat from Queens, the deputy majority leader and second most powerful lawmaker, told the Post he'll use his influence to get Albany to back Mamdani's programs. Giarnis and Mamdani have overlapping districts in western Queens, and they teamed up in the past to steer $15 million in state funds to finance experimental free bus services in Queens. Asked about the $800 million cost to make bus services free, he said, we do programs of that size every year in the budget. He also said Senate Democrats have pushed bills to advance subsidized child care. I'm 100% going to push for this. It is important and necessary. Hochul, the most powerful player in budget talks, said she opposes raising income taxes or diverting funds from the MTA to subsidize bus fares as she faces votes next year in what is expected to be a tough race, likely against Elise Stefanik. The governor does not support raising the 7.3% corporate tax either, which Mamdani wants to raise to 11%. The plan would move New York from 17th among states to tied for first with New Jersey. But she has not taken a corporate tax hike off the table either if the state has to close a multi-billion-dollar budget gap. While trying to navigate a growing movement on her left flank to raise taxes, the business community will resist the rise in corporate taxes, which would become an issue in the general election. Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop, the incoming CEO of the influential partnership of the City of New York, said Mamdani's proposal to boost the state's business tax rate would be absolute suicide. The proposal is absolute suicide for New York City and an absolute dream for New Jersey. He noted that businesses in the city pay other taxes that would raise their overall tax rates to 16%. So it comes as no surprise. We knew this would happen. Now, whether or not they get a candidate up and running to primary Hochul before the primary season, which I'm not sure how soon. I think they have to do petitions at the same time, but I don't see a scenario, do you, where there is a Democrat Socialist of America running against Hochul. No, quote, good deed goes unpunished. She thought she was being kingmaker by endorsing Mamdani, and really she just painted herself into a corner and set herself up for embarrassment. Michael Goodwin says the news was shocking, yet also familiar. It goes like this. Does Governor Hochul actually have any governing principles, or is she just making it up as she goes along? That was my thought Friday when reports emerged that Hochul is suddenly open to raising taxes on New York corporations to fund socialist Zohran Mamdani's freebies. Holy flip-flop. Wait, is this really the same Hochul who said absolutely no to those same tax hikes in June? Saying, quote, I'm not raising taxes at a time when affordability is the big issue. That was a week before the Democrat Party's mayoral primary, and Mamdani looked like a sure loser to Andrew Cuomo. Sensing as such, Hochul's shot down Mamdani's plan to raise income taxes on wealthy city residents by 2 percentage points and hike the corporate rate from 7.25% to 11.5%. She also refused to endorse him or anyone else in the big field. Her stance seemingly reflected the hard lessons she and others in Albany had learned. When your state is a leader in population outmigration to other states because of sky-high taxes, rampant crime, and excessive government spending, anyone with half a brain could see there was no future in following the same course. Hochul's response to the Mamdani plan got right to those points. I don't want to lose any more people to Palm Beach. We've lost enough. Let's be smart about this. That's a straightforward stance, and she left herself no wiggle room. The wiggle has suddenly emerged now that Mamdani is mayor-elect. The timing is a reminder that politicians often see Friday as the best time to leak news they hope few people will notice. The use of aides who speak anonymously is another way to downplay a bad news dump, which this clearly was. Politico said there have been back-of-the-napkin style discussions about how to increase the corporate tax rate. They cited anonymous sources in saying that Hochul is facing left-flank pressure to raise taxes next year as a way to help pay for Mamdani's raft of free this and free that. In effect, the sources are admitting that the governor is caving in to that pressure, which probably means it's coming from the legislature and the radical leftists who make up core Mamdani voters. The eat-the-rich anti-business crowd will be delighted that the governor has caved. But to those New Yorkers who foolishly believe her no new taxes vow, she's broken yet another pledge on a fundamental issue, and that's hardly admirable. Indeed, she can't seriously claim she's concerned about the exorbitant cost of living in New York while also raising broad-based taxes that will ultimately filter through the entire economy. That's how New York got in this mess in the first place. Yeah, Hochul has obviously changed her mind since June, and no doubt the switch is based on a political calculation she has made. She saw how Mamdani won both the primary and the general election by boosting turnout in the 5 boroughs with his tax and spend agenda. She seems to believe it will work for her, too. The catch is that statewide voters are far more moderate than those in the 5 boroughs, and she might have forgotten that Mamdani won just over 50% of the votes in a multi-candidate field, and that more than 1 million New Yorkers backed someone else. And when it comes to campaign charisma, Hochul is no Mamdani. Is she also planning to follow him and betray Israel? Already her tax gamble seems questionable given that she faces a tough re-election campaign. Her pact with Mamdani offers a big fat target for Republicans planning to run against her next year. Elise Stefanik announced her candidacy and came out of the gate swinging, calling Hochul America's worst governor. We also have Bruce Blakeman testing the water. New York's exorbitantly high taxes are certain to be a target no matter which of the two secure the GOP nomination. To see how out of control New York government is, consider that the current state budget is a gargantuan at $254 billion, which is $100 billion higher than just a decade ago. Florida, which has more people than New York, managed to get by on $117 billion. State spending was a focus in Hochul's 2022 campaign, where Lee Zeldin ran heavily on soaring crime and New York's reputation for being among the nation's top tax states. Zeldin almost pulled off an upset. That led Speaker Pelosi to blast Hochul's campaign as inept, with the governor blaming an out-of-state consultant. This time, Hochul's opponent will be able to show a clear pattern of her making no tax pledges and then doing a 180 reversal. Recall that before last general election, she paused her plan for Manhattan congestion pricing to help protect suburban House Democrats in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut because the tax on drivers was extremely unpopular. Yet as soon as the votes were counted, Hochul ended her pause and imposed a $9 a day tax on cars entering Midtown. The cost of living concern be darned. She's doing similar now with a ban on gas stove hookups in new homes. It was supposed to start in January for new buildings up to 7 stories, and then for all buildings in 2029, but state lawyers agreed to a delay during a court challenge to the expansive ban. Stefanik smells a rat and insisted that the voluntary delay is a cynical political pause so she can, to New Yorkers with high prices after the election. Something of an affirmation comes from an unlikely source, environmentalists. They are furious at Hochul, saying that she used to say that the ban was necessary to reduce deadly emissions. The pattern is so obvious that New Yorkers would be wise to assume that additional taxes, fees, and far-left measures are waiting in the wings and would be unveiled if Hochul wins again. Her penchant for trying to hide the ball is a very odd strategy in an era when most voters prize authenticity above all else. Across the spectrum, from Donald Trump to Mamdani, a common thread of the victors is their ability to persuade voters that what you see is what you get. No one can seriously argue that is true of Governor Hochul. The one consistency in her elective career is that what you see today won't be what you'll get tomorrow. Like a weather vane, her position tells you only which way the wind is blowing now. It's the business she's chosen. All right, we got to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here at WYDC TV, Big Fox.
You don't have time to go to the gym? The health club is not an option? Come to Hesselson today and see why swim spas and fitness systems can fit into anyone's yard and budget. 12-foot, 14-foot, 15-foot, 18-foot dual temperature hot tub and swim spas are all on display in Hesselson's indoor and outdoor showroom. Try before you buy. 0% interest-free financing options are available on every Hesselson swim spa. Swim and exercise year-round and start making every day better. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
The Black Sales event is here. Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships in Mansfield. Get savings up to $9,000 off MSRP on brand new Ford Super Duties. Or experience $13,000 off MSRP on select new 2026 Ram 1500s. And don't miss up to $12,000 off 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500s. Enjoy our lowest price guaranteed and get a 55-inch smart TV with every purchase now until the end of the month. So save some green off Route 15 in Mansfield where we're taking the deals the other guys won't.
Fox 10 p.m. News is the first primetime local news for the Twin Tiers. Our reporters, Haley and Dante, scour the Southern Tier to bring you up-to-date news regarding local businesses, economics, and how national decisions impact our area. If you're not near a TV, don't worry. You can also catch our 10 p.m. news live on WYDCTV.com/livestream. Don't miss Big Fox 10 p.m. news on WYDC, on TV, or our website.
Your tap water is delicious. I know, right? It's this Culligan Smart drinking water system. What do you think is going on in there?
I'm smelling a touch of chlorine.
Yeah, I'm detecting some PFAS.
I'm also getting notes of lead.
Perfection.
Sending it up.
Here we go.
Certified to reduce more than 70 contaminants. It's like having your own team of water experts. See the smart difference at Culligan.com.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Hospitals have doctors and nurses. We have mom and dad. Because at Ronald McDonald House Charities, we help families feel at home, even when they can't be.
It's a new season of Sherry.
Having a good time has always been my #1 goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back. Wrapping up today's edition of Frankly Speaking, let's go to viewer comments. Hochul is going to go no matter how much the radical left threatens her. Is going to go no matter how much the radical left threatens her. Go Elise. Thank you very much. Continuing, the way for New York State to prosper is to get along with President Trump. Otherwise, New York State will certainly fail economically. Plus, how is it that Pennsylvania's budget is $51.5 billion, but New York State's budget is $250 billion? Go figure. Comment from a different viewer. Sorry, Frank, I think I worded that wrong, or you read it wrong. Probably I read it wrong. I don't know. There's nothing selling for $251 out in the country in the Finger Lakes at the size very few bigger ones unless you hit the lakes. That figure didn't even include that land 4 years ago, poured basement for the same house was about $30,000, now up to almost $50,000. Probably will be by the summer 26. It's awfully funny these rates doubled about the time that they put smart meters in, which I objected to. I was told $13 plus a month to not have something I don't want. Tell me where that is legal or right. Thank you for that comment. Comment from Ken. New York is working hard to compete with California for the most progressive and highest cost of living state in the nation. As far as housing, my sister worked in the San Diego school system. She was highly paid and doing extremely well by most metrics. Her lifelong dream was to own her own home, but she couldn't afford to buy a house in California. When she retired, she was able to find a house she could afford in Oregon. New York is working to beat California in the unaffordable housing market. Possibly our Democrat politicians are heavily invested in the growing market of investment companies that are buying up housing with the intention of renting them to people that they outbid. Thank you, Ken. Comment from a different viewer. I'm all for a lease. According to Michelle Obama, Queen Michelle Obama, there must be something wrong with men like me supporting a woman being in charge. Yes, she said that men were not ready to vote in a woman in charge. And finally, Frank, great show today. You covered a lot. Have a great day and get a deer. Thank you, Mark. I hope from your mouth to God's ears, right? All right, quickly. Admit it, Gavin Newsom is a 2028 front runner, says Politico. For years, Democrats and pundits have rolled their eyes at Gavin Newsom, but he's positioned better than anyone else for a future in politics. This is by Jonathan Martin. No Democrat has had a better 2 years than Gavin Newsom, and because of it, the California governor, a national figure since he was 36-year-old mayor, has claimed a new title, frontrunner. So I guess that's to completely ignore his disastrous handling of the wildfires, but he's had a great 2 years. It's easy to find Newsom naysayers. In fact, there may not be a modern political figure who has simultaneously so well positioned to be his party's nominee and so doubted by the smart set since, well, Joe Biden. Ooh, that was a little bit of a message there. That was the smart set. The old guard doesn't want him. That's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You better support him. So let's not make the mistake of ignoring what's in plain view and give the governor his due. By the old rules of Democratic nominations, Newsom fits neatly in the tradition of Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama, younger, outsider candidate who could credibly run fresh campaigns against the Washington status quo of both parties while claiming enough insider credentials to resume party people who care about such things. Enough on that. So Gavin Newsom is now the front runner. Do we have everything? Even though scrutiny grows over the LA fire origins, did you see that reports that the fire crew were ordered to leave the original site of the blaze? They're doing more research on that. But AOC's ad did outscore Newsom in California. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, not California Governor Gavin Newsom, had the most effective ad in California's recent Proposition 50 campaign, according to private research by the Democrat Party's main super PAC, Future Forward. Yeah, I know. A lot of people questioning. Yeah, I know. Gavin Newsom has a great 2 years. That's what they're claiming. All right, that does it for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Thank you to everybody who joined us. Thank you to Joe Barlow for being our guest and telling us all about the crystal chords. We appreciate that. Join us every weekday morning starting at 6 for Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. I look forward to it already.
I'm Marion Crawford. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
Hi, this is the owner of Hustle Sins in Amara Heights. At Hustle Sins, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hustle Sins now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is a start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hustle Sins is still locally and family owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hustle Sins.